So usually it takes kids about one class period to do their outline. And I usually check over them before they put them on the drying rack to see if they missed anything or see if their lines are solid enough. I do show them before the demonstration is over that when they pick this up, they have to make sure that their hands are on top of the fabric and underneath the cardboard, because if they don't, then this will just fly up and fold and glue together. And these go on the drying rack. I tell them to make sure to put their name on there and their class period so that they don't get confused. The next time that they come to art, their artwork's still on here, plastic's underneath, the wax paper's underneath, and their glue is dry. And then I do a demonstration to show them how to paint. So the paint's on the trays again, those brown trays that are in the marked cupboards. I do a half container water, and then I put out these big brushes, which are in the Batik cabinet. And then again, I use an egg carton to store the acrylic paint. I usually water down the acrylic paint quite a bit, so it's a whole lot easier to paint on top of the fabric. But we've got tons of acrylic paint back there, so don't be shy to use it. And then at the end of the hour, because it usually takes 2 class periods to paint, I just wrap it back up, put it away in the cabinet with the brushes and the water cups so things are nice and moist and stay really ready for the next time. So I show them about how to paint, and I tell them that they can mix the colors all that they want. Usually give them like a paper plate for mixing colors, but I tell them that they can also mix colors on the fabric. Full strength paint is really, really hard to work with on this because, as you know, acrylic's going to turn into plastic. So I show them what happens when they start adding water to the fabric. It can go a long way. Now they don't want to dilute it too much or it's going to the color will fade out a lot when they rinse out the glue. But I do show them, how they can mix color on here, and they get really excited about that. They have to paint the entire thing, background too. So usually it takes them 2 class periods. I've tried to do it in 1. It does not work. It is not a happy thing. So definitely allow for 2 class periods to paint. And again, at the end of the hour, these have to go back onto the drying rack. So I tell them you have to hold on to your fabric, hold on to your cardboard. So at the end, it should look something like this. Right, when it's all done, the whole thing is painted. Now, before they come to the last class period for this project, what you need to do is get the buckets that are in the Batik cabinet. They're just big Home Depot buckets, see, big orange buckets. And go ahead and use both. You fill them up halfway with warm water and a little soap. And I put out these sponges for them as well. And you're actually going to take their batiks and put them into the bucket, the warm water and the soap. And usually at the beginning of the day, half an hour before class starts, I start this so they have a chance to soak off a lot of the glue. In between classes, usually like halfway through the class, I start in the next round. But a lot of them can fit in a bucket, so usually use both. And I call a couple people over at a time. I'm going to use the center island with the 3 sinks. And I do 2 kids at a sink at a time, then everybody gets a sponge, right? And what I show them is that you need to get all the glue off. So the glue turns really slimy again, and they just have to get the glue off. If there's any extra paint on there, that's going to come off too, or any paint that's on the surface of the glue. So they just keep going and scrubbing under the water. Doesn't matter if it's cold or warm. But definitely when you soak, you just want warm water. Don't make it really hot or you may lose a lot of the color in their artwork. And I just kind of supervise as they go, and when they think they're done, I have them call me over. If there's any more glue left on there, then they have to keep going. It just looks really slimy and gross, but they look so beautiful when they're done. And they just kind of squeeze them out under the sink, and then I have them put them back on the drying rack to dry. And you can bring an iron in if you want in the next class period, help them iron them out, or just have them bring them home after you do, of course, the evaluation. Same kind of same format, same setup. Student grades themselves, teacher grades themselves. This particular version has some questions that they could answer for the comments, but they can write whatever they want as a comment. And then once they're dry, they can turn them into you. There are some sponges in here that have like a scrubby pad on the back. Do not use the scrubby pad side because it will take all the paint off and that will be sad. So that is the Batik project.